99% of people watching this video are not subscribed. Please consider subscribing. If you've ever wondered why you keep pressing the play again button even after you've lost 10 games in a row, or why you can't seem to stop whipping out your wallet every time a new skin is released,
55.3 thousand? Who the fuck would buy this shit? Ah! I just bought it!
look no further. Today, I'll be discussing all the ways Riot has designed Valorant to keep you addicted to their game, shilling out more money, more playtime, and losing more and more of your sanity every time you hear
Match found.
On the bright side, maybe by the end of this video, you'll finally be able to talk yourself out of another session of tilt queuing and opt for going outside to touch some grass or get some maidens instead. Before we get into why you just can't get enough Valorant, let's talk about what Riot's main goals are for you as the player. It boils down to two major categories. The first is spending more money, and the second is spending more time playing. These two things are essentially the overarching goal of any AAA gaming company, with money being the obvious #1 goal. The beautiful and somewhat sinister thing about these two objectives, though, is that they ultimately help each other succeed. The more time you spend playing, the more likely you are to spend money, and in turn, the more money you spend, the more likely you are to continue playing the game. This cycle goes on forever until finally the next new shiny toy comes along, and then it repeats all over again. Now that we understand Valorant's main objectives, let's look at the tactics they use to get you to spend more time playing their game. Well, the most obvious way Valorant keeps you coming back is by offering a competitive mode. And before you roll your eyes, let's look at this a little deeper. Hosting a competitive mode within the game offers players a feedback loop, whether it be positive or negative, every single time they play the game. You play a competitive match and then you're given a certain skill rating based on how well you played. It's instantly giving you feedback on how you did. And in the case of a game like Valorant, where there's a skill ladder that you can climb to become the best, makes you as the player feel compelled to play another game so you can see your skill level rise. Riot devs are hoping that with a ranking system in place, it will trigger a player's competitive nature to keep them grinding match after match, trying to reach the top of the pyramid. Valorant even goes as far as to give players the opportunity to see if they are the #1 player in their region, meaning it's not enough to just reach the highest rank, but hopefully you'll reach the highest rank and then grind for #1. Now, it's a common feature for FPS titles to showcase the exact position of the top 500 players per region, but Valorant takes this concept one step further by widening the margin in which players can see their exact position on the leaderboard to include any player that reaches Immortal. This is a strategic move on Valorant's part to entice a wider range of players to keep grinding, so that way they can at least see their name appear on the Immortal list. And honestly, this is a brilliant play on Riot's part, as many low elo players are comfortable with the idea that they'll never reach Radiant, so a lot settle for the goal of hitting Immortal 1 just to see their name on the leaderboard. Many players in the Valorant community refer to this as camping the leaderboard, which is where players hit Immortal 1 and then stop playing comp just so they can keep the title and their name on the leaderboard. Next, let's look into the Battle Pass. Valorant, like many other free-to-play titles, includes a Battle Pass to offer exclusive loot that can only be obtained by completing each level and do not reappear in the shop. Meaning, if players can't unlock all items that season, they have missed them forever. This is intentional on Riot's part to create a sense of FOMO, or fear of missing out, making players want to invest more hours in the game so they can obtain the exclusive items before they're gone forever. This is also reflected by Riot placing the most desirable and rare items, such as knife skins, as the final reward, forcing players to complete the entire thing, even if they just want that one item. But it wasn't enough for Riot to offer a battle pass to increase player retention. They had to take it one step further by making the battle pass something that would take players an entire season to complete. Even with an XP boost for players who purchase the battle pass, it takes a long time to finish and many hours of grinding. Now that we understand how Valorant keeps you crawling back for more, let's talk about how Valorant gets you to spend more money using the item shop. Besides FOMO, Riot's main tactics when it comes to its item shop are scarcity and urgency. Valorant's item shop is broken up into two portions, each with their own tactics to get you to spend your money. The first portion of the shop releases a new skin collection every 2 weeks, and similar to their Battle Pass model, they're hoping that the scarcity of these items will create a feeling of FOMO in players and encourage them to purchase the collection before it's gone. However, unlike their Battle Pass system, players have the chance to buy the gun skins in each collection again, as every 24 hours, players get randomized skins in their item shop, which they can then purchase. These individual skins are randomized for a reason, because with a whole host of new skins dropping every 2 weeks, thus making the item pool bigger and bigger, players can't be sure when that one single item will return to their shop again. Couple this with a time limit of 24 hours to make their decision, or in the case of the collection, 2 weeks to make that decision, and players are now successfully tricked into feeling as though these cases of scarcity and urgency are real, making them more likely to make an impulse decision and pull the trigger on buying skins. And in some cases, this impulsivity can push players to buy skins that aren't even the highest on their list, because they figure it's better than waiting for something better to come along and having nothing in the meantime. As a quick bonus to Valorant's money-hungry shop model, they lock different variants and upgrades for each skin behind a special in-game currency that can only be earned by completing the Battle Pass or purchasing it separately, thus further pushing players to pull the trigger on buying that Battle Pass or encouraging them to buy $50 in points instead of 25, so they have a little extra points to fully upgrade their newly purchased skin. Interestingly enough though, Valorant doesn't stop there. Outside of its very meticulously created shop, Valorant has a much more passive way of getting you to spend money. They make the game free. As silly as it sounds, by making Valorant free, players feel more willing to spend money on the game. I theorize this is partly because players are used to spending around $60 for the traditional multiplayer game, such as games in the Call of Duty series, but they're receiving Valorant for free, so they're able to justify it to themselves by saying buying a skin is less than they would have spent on the game in the first place. This is a common trap in thinking, however, because once you purchase a Valorant skin, you become much more likely to purchase another one. To bring it all around full circle, the more money you spend buying Valorant skins, the more likely you are to continue pouring time into the game, because now you have invested money into it. And if you fail to keep putting hours into Valorant, all of that money that you've spent will feel like it went to waste. But by continuing to spend more time on Valorant to justify that purchase, the more you're going to be exposed to limited time deals on skins, bundles, and more, thus increasing the pressure to make another purchase every time you log in. This is Valorant's manipulation at work. Some players justify their spending or playtime by saying because they're a high elo player, it's worth buying skins or grinding comp, and that low elo players are wasting their money and time grinding and buying skins for a game that they're not good at. No matter what copium you use to justify the time and money you've spent on Valorant, just know you're in pretty good company, as Valorant has millions of people finding it just as hard to resist as you. So what do you think? Has Riot successfully sucked you into their game for hours on end? Have you spent a paycheck or two on new skin bundles? Let me know in the comments below. I, for one, can confidently say Valorant has done a great job getting me addicted to their game, and despite how desperately my bank account begs me to stop, I know I'm not done buying skins anytime soon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed it, please make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, as it really helps my channel out a ton. I'll see you next week with another new video.